Hi, beautiful beings of light. This is Yana, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And I'll be continuing right on my previous videos. We were talking about the 13 principles of natural law, so I would like to finish that. We'll see if we'll finish it today or not, because the topic or the material is it's heavy, complex, but at the same time for me very inspiring, and it's something that you know, we have to become familiar with more and more, because this is part of our creation, how we were designed, right? Because we are going back to the original divine blueprint and understanding universal laws. Extremely important as we're bringing the divine order here back online, okay, to this 15-dimensional time matrix, universal time matrix with 12 dimensions and so on. So those who've been experiencing you know, all kinds of like abuses, injustices, right? And you know, like what's going on, you know, I'm such a beautiful soul, I want the best, right? I have connection to God, to source, and you find yourself in situations, whether family relationships or organizations, corporations or military, and they're trying to break you down, disconnect you from your heart, from your spirit. And how come that this is all allowed? That should not be allowed, correct? So then you're asking why this is you know, happening. And so you guys, hopefully more and more of you are getting familiar with the negative aliens, right, with their negative alien agenda. And let me see, and then we have the Galactics here. Yeah, so this is the Alien Races book, where you can, guys, go ahead and educate yourself, you know, with the you know, the Dracos, the Triconians here, the Khazarian Mafia. Let me see. Okay, so, you know, and she's an incredible artist, this person, Elena Denan. So that's, I'm just impressed by this book, okay? And you know, we just we're not alone here in this universe, right? I talk about Telos here, Telosians. And so it's for me, I'm visual too, and I want to know, I want to educate myself, right? I am devoted to my yoga path, union with the divine, and part of those steps of yoga is self-study, self-discipline, but also, you know, understanding the structure of the life and the blueprint of our creation, okay? And oh, but this is those bad guys here, right? So you guys wreaking havoc here and working with the negative ones, with those negative aliens. Oh, those are negative aliens, yeah. With the Orion group and so on. So yeah, so we have this, but don't forget that we have the Galactics here, right? I work with the Ashtar command, and we are bringing everything into divine justice. Of course, it takes time, you know, this is not overnight thing, and because we're multidimensional, right? And we've been here kind of dumbed down and stuck in this 3D matrix or false matrix of the inorganic artificial intelligence, right, of the archons, the computer simulation. The matrix was hooked to the super quantum computers of those negative ones, okay? And controlling, manipulating, wreaking havoc, and all this mind control thing going on. So we need to kind of acknowledge that, right? Embrace that, or study that, and transmute these energies. And so those who are, you know, starseeds and light workers, indigos, guardians, empath sensitives, you know, highly advanced souls, guys, this is time for us to shine, right? And pretty much we're the frequency holders, right? We're the column of light shining bright. Time for us to shine, and while on the darkness, right? And through the knowledge or whatever the mission is, right? Or mission assignment, a life purpose, right? We are dismantling the darkness, bringing it to online, to the surface here, right? So people can see it for what it is, and step by step creating healing communities, or educational system, right? You know, new schools, new universities, new healing paradigm, because I want to switch and talk about whether yoga, Ayurveda, the nutrition. Okay, very important to really watch what we are eating. So that will be my next project, talking about food, nutrition, and you know, the Ayurvedic cooking, some of the recipes I can introduce as well. So yeah, and so my pretty much for me, it's all about freeing the mind, right? So that's the path of illumination as well. Okay, so yeah, illuminating the mind so we can free ourselves. Remember the power of the mind, right? That's why being so targeted, and we're being so dumbed down, and all these horrible chemicals everywhere. So, and time to also purify our mind, right? The purification of the mind is extremely important. The deprogramming, talk about the deprogramming, decalcification of the pineal gland, right? So we become again psychic and telepathic and galactic, and having direct connection to God, to source, just like we were created originally. Okay, with 12 strands of DNA, with our crystalline heart, right? Plasma light body, and just being divine luminous beings. Okay, the babies of the universe, the best of the best DNA. So welcome, you guys. You know my disclaimer: only take what resonates with you. I'm sharing information based on direct experiences, also my wisdom, my knowledge, right, that comes from my oversoul, my monad, and my avatar self, and having connection to the solar rishis, sages of the Himalayan mountains, and just reminding you, we're powerful co-creators. Okay, so we're watching our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, even our deeds and actions, right? Remember this matrix, the way it was designed, the 15 dimensional universal time matrix, was designed with this Christos founder races, with loving co-creation, with free will, and under the law of one. So that's why studying the universal laws, right, the law of one, the cosmic sovereign law, universal laws, and so on, it's recommended for the group who are also of that the blue flame, you know, the order of the Melchizedek, the cloister races. You guys, this is guardian materials. You're welcome to look up Ashayana guardian materials, Google that. She's got very powerful videos on YouTube channel. Okay, so so there's so much information, and there's just so much you know, material, the creation of this earth, the true galactic history or earth history. Okay, and there's so much mathematics and science behind it, quantum science, so you cannot really refute what she is saying, because it's just like it's extremely scientific, but sometimes, you know, scientific, and you know, only the truth will set us free. Okay, so and of course, you know, my videos are for those who resonate with what I have to say, and that's kind of, you know, my soul tribe, right? And the Indigos, Indigo warriors, and the ancient ones, the guardians, and you know, dealing with the usurpers of God's will, right? So that's why we have to be strong in our inner self, inner core, the inner Christ, you know, holding the light, and you know, aligning with God's divine will, understanding God's divine law, and embodying God's divine love. Yes, Holy Mother. Okay, so connecting to the cosmic heart of Father, Mother, God, and also connecting to the crystalline core of Mother Earth, Mother Nature, and being in our heart, just feeling the connection with all that is Satchitananda, bliss, nirvana, samadhi. Okay, so that's where I am coming from, guys. We finished with the law of and oh yeah, also I want to remind you guys, the New Earth jurisdiction, right, with the Galactic Codex implementation, you can find it on my website, yanakalai.com. okay, or Galactic Codex, right? There's Galactic Codex, or you know, this is my credo here. So know that we are here protected. We have help and support from the guardians, the Crystal Star family, the Andromeda, right, is hosting our Ascension. Ascension is really key to exit the matrix, okay? And you know the drill, my Ascension protocol, right? What it requires, so it's a lot. And understanding our rights, extremely important. That's in the Galactic Codex, right? The law of divine grace. It's all simplified. And you know, the golden rule, the law of response, that actually will go over that. Remember, there is a divine justice. What goes around comes around. That's the law of cause and effect. Everything is accounted for. So there is no way how, you know, Khazarian mafia, let's just call it KM can escape from all these criminal activities, horrible crimes against humanity, you know, population, this planet, and so on, you know, wreaking havoc in the solar system, in this Milky Way, and so on. Unfortunately, you know, they have highly advanced technology, so we need to really work on ourselves and ask the Galactics for help, because they have highly advanced technology, right? That will help us heal the planet, get rid of all this pollution, and of course they have super mind, super advanced technology as well, right? The ET technology, that's the ether technology, helping us to deprogram and rewire the mind, especially the subconscious mind, because of this trauma-based mind control, right? Especially, I would say, in those the military department. So that needs to be addressed, right? So, but know that there is technology, know that there is help. And I know Marina Chagobi was talking about the new technology for ultramind. That's the multi-holographic laser with impulse frequency for the ultra state of mind, okay? So that's I still have that information. Maybe I can go over it next time, but everything is pretty much here, guys. Everything, you know, from healing, you know, for all the you know, all the answers, right? The YouTube channel, people are reporting stuff. I mean, but it all needs to be synchronized and synthesized in your inner core, right? The inner work is extremely important. So the law of response, guys, here's the chakra and sphere 6, okay? And that this law means that when we genuinely seek guidance and help from the spiritual energetic realms, and we pray or ask directly for that guidance and support, that we will always receive a response. It is our responsibility to learn how to listen to the whisper in the stillness of our heart for that direct response to our question, or allow ourselves to be in beginner's mind to receive the answer to our request. We must ask directly and state our request for help as clearly as possible with loving vibration. So you have to be in that energy of love and really peace. That, you know, that anger then overclouds everything, and then everything, of course, needs to be postponed. Or we must be careful not to, you know, let the fear and anger take over us, because then we may attract those negative entities, imposter spirits, right? Hostile entities. So so when we do not feel an immediate answer, it is because our spiritual connection is weak, or it is related to timing, location in which to properly receive the message. So keep asking, intending to connect with God, with source. Spirit and the consciousness realm communicates in feelings, emotions, animations. It guides us through our sensory feelings. When we feel lost in the darkness and chaos of this world, blinded by the fear or confusion of the negative ego, we can always ask for help and get a response. When we feel isolated, alone, or need to discern the situation more clearly with more information, ask and stay open-minded. The light within us will ignite a spark, allowing the ego to dissolve in the light. So we begin to hear the inner message within the light. Christ said, "Knock, and it shall be open unto you." So the law of response is interpreted as the golden rule. The golden rule is the most essential basis for the modern concept of human rights, in which each individual has a right to just treatment. It's a mutual responsibility to ensure justice for others. The golden rule is an ethical code or moral truth that essentially states one should treat others as one would like others to treat oneself. So this concept describes a two-way relationship between oneself and others that involves both sides equally and in a mutual benefit of win-win fashion. So that's the law of response, the law of cause and effect. Whatever quality of energy is generated from thought, emotion, or behavior, this combination sets into motion a cycle of energy that must eventually return back to its causal source, completing its circuit. So there are many dimensional planes of causation, but nothing will escape the law, because at the end of the cycle, all is accounted for. It is up to each of us to understand, make proper use of this law, because on the path of expanding consciousness, we learn that we will have to answer for our actions. We will account for the energy we were given. There is no such thing as randomness, chance, or luck, even though I do believe in luck. As there is a cause for every effect and an effect for every cause, the empowering point of aligning to this principle is to make the conscious choice to rise above the negative or limiting thought forms of the masses and choose to become your own cause in reality, not just the effect of others and the situations that you find yourself in. That's why, for me, really simplifying the life and just kind of minding my own business in a way, but of course in a spiritual way, to being on, you know, on my mission, and you know, doing my work, sharing information with you guys, just creating that portal, the energy around me, within me, because I am the portal, right? With the chakra energies, we're sound, light, frequency, vibration, guys. Don't forget that, okay? So chanting, mantra, japa, meditation, yantras, you know, the Vedic wisdom, knowledge, the Vedic ancient books. That's really what helped me with my healing and with my transitioning, you know, to that state of happiness. We are transitioning to the next harmonic universe, number 2, right? Soul connection, consciousness expansion, guys. This is again material from Lisa Renee, okay? Universal matrix number, the harmonic universe number 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And here's 5. Through her material, I read that the harmonic universe number 6 was created for Holy Mother. So the energies where we're transitioning can be corrected, right? The magnetosphere, pretty much the magnetic field, had to be corrected with the sound waves, frequency, with those sacred codes, because it was extremely damaged, right? And that's why I'm also very grateful, thankful for grid workers and gatekeepers and so on. That's why Sandra Walter, right, her work and her unity meditation, every Sunday we're connecting to the new earth grid, right? The crystalline grid of unconditional love. So because that's why we got so in this low frequency that I mentioned, because of all the tilt of our planet, right? The grids were messed up, you know, some kind of bulging at the equator. I mean, how they damage the solar system, it's totally unfathomable. But that's how much power they have, those negative ones, with their negative alien, with their black hole technologies, right? The black sun entities and the, you know, KM, right? You know what I'm talking about. So it's just like the negative Dracos, the negative reptilians. That's why we need to bring the good ETs, the benevolent ETs, right, of all the races here, so the correction can happen. We can bring everything right side up. So the law of transformation, right? No, that was, I'm sorry, that was the law of cause and effect. Here we go. So this important distinction gives one the ability to rise above the archetypal roles of victim, victimizer, or master, slave. So that's why I talk about equality, right? We come from God, from source, okay? So this inequality, the conquer and divide, and you know, the what is the superiority, inferiority, guys, you know that you're in that ego state, and guess what? That ego gets targeted, right? Through the mind control, and your pain body gets bigger, your shadow self gets bigger, you know, that's all the trauma, drama, and so on, with emotional charge, you guys. So being simple, humble, right, walking those energies of love and faith and trust and grace and gratitude and compassion. Those are the Telosians, right? Our family, star family in the inner earth. That's Telos, or the Agarthians, okay, of that positive faction, okay? So that's, you know, it's a drill, it's a discipline, and the polarity integration, we talked about it last time, right? So observing everything, you know, just, and forgiveness. So invoking the Vat flame. Thank you, Saint Germain. I am a being of Vat fire. I am the purity God desires. Just focus on Holy Mother. Just go into your heart and breathe, right? The breath will take you into that inner space, into that sacred chamber of your heart, where you can go and meditate or cry and say what bothers you, and then ask for help. Because, yeah, we read the law of response, right? You ask for help, so knock and it shall be open unto you. So there's always help, there's response, but then we have to wait, right? We have to purify our mind or calm down, okay, in order to then hear the message and the support that is of that uplifting nature. Because if we're in anger, ego, right, the entities love it, the negative ones, right, you know, the negative aliens, right? Because for them it's louche, right? Remember, even though they have highly advanced technology, some of them are extremely intellectual, right? They're mostly running the reversals, from the Nephilim reversal grid, and they are vampires. They're very vampiristic. You know, for the, you know, the Satanism, the Luciferianism, so they are parasites. They are parasites. And, you know, there are people here, or, you know, people, I mean, in human forms, you know, people walking around us, and you know who is taking energy from you, and who is either neutral, or who then you receive this beautiful energy suddenly, because you get this activation from your heart, you get the activation from the sun, right? We need to activate the DNA, right? The unity meditation with Saint Walter. I've been talking about it for so long. We've been doing it for 6 years. So that's how you build the momentum of that light quotient. So even though you get angry or you got triggered, it's so easy. Then just breathe, go into your heart, go into your center, and just be the compassionate witness or divine neutrality. Just observe, right? Everything that pretty much what happened to us, you know, it's just like on a movie screen. We're just watching it and not really engaging with it, you know, with those lower vibrational emotions, or, you know, with that still ego mind, right? The ego mind, the predator mind. Again, Ascension glossary, Lisa Rini, she talks about it. That all needs to be transformed, transmuted. Okay, so then we can actually connect to our higher mind and the universal mind, the mind of God. So we all are required to understand the difference between positive and negative forces, so that we can determine the positive and negative effects that these forces will return when they manifest in our life. If we do not understand the causality of effects that happen in our life, and if we cannot determine the difference between positive and negative forces when they're acting in our life, we become very confused and unhappy. Positive and loving actions bring positive and loving results. Negative and fear-based actions bring negative and fear-based results. Our actions bring our own results through the quality based on the polarity chosen, love or fear, right? So we're here in this polarized matrix, right? The biwaves. And now we're going to the Trinity, the tri-wave, right? So that's why we're watching those two poles. Remember the law of polarity, we talked about it last time, right? So going in the middle, going into your heart, the 0-point balance, that's the God's matrix, right? Moderation, conservation of the use of your energy, right? So the center, we're going back to center, our inner self, our Christ itself, guys. And that's how we ascend, transcend. Okay, and that's how we can liberate ourselves here from this polarity, and from, you know, this dumbing down and kind of the prison planet. I mean, it's not anymore. I can see that now people have you know, this is the energies, I mean, are incredible. The gamma waves frequencies, the plasma, and so on, you know, the solo flayers. I mean, there's so much now help, support from the higher realms, the galactic realm, the celestial realm, the cosmic realm with cosmic angels, okay? That is all about tuning into your heart, and you can feel the difference, okay? But some people are not choosing that, right? The comfort zone, the all about just the whether the ego, the 3D, the body, and just not wanting to make a change. Remember, nobody can do this for you, right? And of course, we're also trying not to force this new kind of way of living and thinking on other people. You know, we can only inspire and empower others, but we cannot control, manipulate. That's the you know, the control manipulation, that's of that 3D, that's the mind control, that's the negative ego, that's of the archons, the archontic structure. So humanity was given the freedom to choose, and according to the alignment of our thoughts and decisions, we experience contentment or chaos, enlightenment or delusion. Learning from our mistakes is the process of cultivating right thinking and right alignment. If our pain increases, the awareness is that change and transformation of the way we do things is required. As a result, we must be very clear about our personal value system and where we place our attention, time, and focus, as where we direct our interest will initiate movement forward through the law of cycles in either love or fear vibrations. You know, it's not easy. I mean, the ego, the entitlement, people have entities, you know, all kinds of chips and nanobots and nanites, you know, so that all needs to be also neutralized through good food, nutrition, or juicing, smoothies, right? Drinking distilled water. Guys, this is multidimensional. This is like very complex here project, right? Because we are, you know, we're complex, but at the same time, if we just really center ourselves and be in our hearts and focusing on our breath, it can be a simple thing to do each and every day, just with a little bit of meditation and you know, honoring ourselves and having that altar and light a candle, burn an incense. Okay, so for me, really, living modestly, simplifying our lives, you know, be simple living, but high thinking. So focusing on your mission, focusing on yourself, focusing on your healing, focusing on your transformation, transmutation, right? And that will open through your higher heart, it will to those other dimensions. Okay, you can feel your multidimensionality. You can start feeling freedom that comes from within. And you know, freeing the mind is extremely important. When you can start thinking for yourselves, you don't have to worry what other people are saying or what they're doing, right? You can start feeling the independence that comes through free thinking, free thoughts. You know, it's very liberating feeling. And also very important, right? Listen to your intuition, to your feelings. Because we're changing all that. The 3D ego, it didn't even allow that intuition to kind of get in touch with you. Now it's like, follow your heart. People are saying follow your heart. But because of the mind control, right, it's not easy because we're still being targeted, and there's so much also artificial messages coming from extremely high dimensions, right? But then slowly but surely, building the momentum, right, we can then feel or differentiate or distinguish what uplifts us or what brings us down. So we have to either register it, right? Write things down, guys. I talk about Kathy O'Brien, okay, PTSD, time to heal, and so on. You know, if something triggers you, write it down. Don't really talk much about it. Just put it in your just close your journal or your notebook, okay, and just let it sit there so you can you know, release that from your cells as well. You know, it's a process. And if you're in doubt, don't do anything. And if you want to talk about any negativity, make sure you got a solution. She talks about it, right? I mean, her partner was a neuroscientist, Mark Phillips. So he knew what he was saying, and they wrote the book, Transformation of America. She wrote that little brochure, PTSD, Time to Heal, right? Because she was a sex slave in a White House for quite some time. She was sold to the three-letter I agency, right? For the Monarch Project, okay, guys? So, and now you can see her documentary. It's called Trans That Movie. And she just talks about everything, what happened to her from A to Z. And it's really heartbreaking. It's devastating. She ended up also in situations like, where do you go? Where do you put this into justice? And you know the Supreme Court, you know, the power. I mean, the people in power in those high positions, jurisdiction, military, government, pharmaceutical industry, religion, education, academia, right? Entertainment industry, press, media, science, guys. That's all been infiltrated, right? KM, you know, those negative aliens with their negative alien agenda. So that's why being educated, being informed, and being in the now and in the know, right? Just extremely important. Like, you guys, the knowledge is power. To know, to understand, so that you can heal, you can release all that stuff and free yourself from this negativity, from that 3D matrix, false matrix, that phantom matrix. And the military, they need to also kind of free themselves from that Wisa matrix, Wisa deck, Wisa Drake, right? With those Metatronic reversals, with the false light Merkabah, and really brutal mind control and torture and tyranny. So that's why Galactic Codex, we have the Galactics are here, the High Command, the Ashtar Command. So that's so you know that there is help that comes from within, right? So the law of transformation, here we go. So there's no real death, only transformation of the energy form into another form, right? So there's pretty much even no death. And understand the ego, right? Fears of that death, of letting go, the negative ego, right? Like, what is happening to me? I'm going through all these ascension symptoms. Nobody's here or understanding me. There's nobody I can really talk to. The inner work, write things down. I used to also, when I was still in that anger position a couple of years ago, it was still pretty intense. I would be in my car, or I would be somewhere in nature and just get screaming or shouting, yelling to release all that. But at the same time, you know, I was writing things down. I have all these notebooks. They're still here with me. Also with journaling, write down your dreams. Okay, guys? And then when you go back to your notes, I mean, it's really, I can see it after a while, you know, there's just like, what is it? Oh, you know, you're just watching and observing. It's not influencing you. It's not triggering you anymore. So that thing works. Write it down or dance it out, singing out, drum it out. And, you know, some people are not that angry. I know some people are more like sensitive, how to say, emotional, because I don't have much water in me, so lots of fire. So everybody's different, right? Dealing with their anger, how they're dealing with their anger or their sadness or with their grief or jealousy, envy, right? Lust. Remember, we're all unique, so it's up to you now to find that niche for yourself, what helps you. And remember, there's help now everywhere. So for the purposes of spiritual growth, we will encounter many situations and events that will constantly evolve and change. And as these situations end, transformation occurs in which new situations will take their place. All of the experiences we have, the change and transformation that we have endured, is intelligent consciousness information, acquired knowledge that we will take with us wherever we go. You see, those become then pearls of wisdom, right? The trauma, the drama, the negativity, I mean, the struggle, right? The pain and everything, guys, when we're transforming it, transmuting it, we're through self-love, self-care, through forgiveness and compassion, then, oh my God, I'm learning my lessons. We're open up what I'm learning from it. Okay, what kind of contracts I really sign up for. Oh my goodness. And not only physical, I don't talk about physical, pretty much on that soul level, energy level, monadic level, right? And, you know, for me, the Rishi agreement really sounds like, vibrates really well, that, you know, with the solar Rishis and everything, they're helping me with my assignment, with my project, with my mission. So, you know, and we have the Emerald Covenant. We're going back to the original, right, creation, the 12D Stargate, Aramathena from Lyra. And so the Amethyst Order, the Golden Order, the Emerald Order, right, the Christos Founder races, they're all now helping us. And with the frequency vibration that is now raising here on this planet, we are raising the frequency vibration. We are activating our DNA. All this recalibration, rejuvenation, regeneration, you know, the old is then releasing. So of course you have ascension symptoms. Of course you have some health issues. Of course you're emotionally either, you know, drained or beat up and mentally kind of confused and disoriented. So be patient with it, right? And bring that loving energies into all these levels. 4-body system, right? The physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. We're complex beings, guys. So the ego death occurs when the false identity and old way of thinking dies and an aspect of ourselves is reborn. This also encompasses the consciousness principle, the law of transformation. To achieve the inner alchemy of synthesizing the polarity of the energies that we are exposed to, we are constantly transforming the energies, transforming ourselves, transforming the timeline. Through every transformative event, we are elevating ourselves towards achieving spiritual liberation transcendence. We move through various portals of change and transformation throughout our life, or we move entirely into another dimension of reality. Law of transcendence. Through the pursuit of enlightenment and the result of the awakened consciousness, or the pursuit of ascension, the pursuit of knowing yourself, who you truly are, mastering your energies, your sexual energy, your mental energy, your emotional energy, right? The ego then loses dominance, or you're being more and more attacked, right? So, and we recognize the flow of the divine, the spirit within everything. We naturally choose to consciously participate in co-creating with God's source in order to generate more goodness for everyone on earth. So that's a service to others instead of service to self, of, you know, and the damage, the destruction, the contamination, the dumbing down, the reversals, right? There's a perversions, you know, of those psychopaths and pedophiles, you know what I'm saying? So, that's why we are here, to be of service, be the light. The cup needs to be full. So it means that the healing process, right? It's pretty much at the end. We're filling our body with the light, the one single eye, right? Your third eye is open. And you're bringing the heavenly energies here to earth. Heaven on earth, or the cosmic energies. So the law of transcendence is the moment we experience the sacred vibration of love as omnipresent. We feel the mind of God permeating our mind, and we're able to grasp universal knowledge beyond the state of reasoning without the assistance of the current human belief systems. Through our inner state of heightening, the super consciousness experience, we gain direct knowing from perfect concentration, and the enlightenment to the greater purpose of divine will is known. And that knowledge supersedes all self-preoccupation and personal desires. I can see that so many people are having a hard time, or, you know, the way that's where they are, you know, it's all being honored and of course respected, where people are too much preoccupied with themselves and how they look and what kind of clothes they wear. And it's, you know, all about flattering the ego, right? Make me happy, or even like in that sexual relationships, like, oh, make me happy, right? You know, to me, that's the agenda of the negative ones. Like, pretty much your happiness is within you, and especially through sexual energies, you make sure you are healed and you're connected to God, to source, making sure you're protected, so you have a sacred relationship, sacred marriage, sacred sexual experiences. Otherwise, you know, you got entities, you got attacks, you got the hook to the misery sex machine, and with all these nanobots, and, you know, I don't even talk about the military. I mean, that's total abomination there. But you know, it's like so important, guys. Spend time alone. I mean, for me, that's natural, like alone by myself, like hermit, Just enjoying my energies, enjoying myself, enjoying my feelings, enjoying my emotions, enjoying my uniqueness and the unity with the divine, yoga, union with the divine. Nothing can beat that. Nothing. And then shared with others, of course, but there's got 7 free boundaries, right? And I also am very systematic, strategic, right? Rules, disciplines, regulations. Make sure you understand universal laws. That's why I have the and the Galactic Codex is here, right? So that's why I have the Ascension protocol for the New Earth, and the Credo. I wrote the Credo for the New Earth jurisdiction. So actually, when I was a child, right, at school, they asked us, who do you want to be? And I was just like, I said, I want to be interpreter and diplomat. So for me, being diplomatic, being professional, being impersonal, okay, but sharing wisdom from those higher realms, that's what always flew through me. It was flowing through me, right? And that blue color, I know there's also much interpretation with the soul of Christ, Archangel Michael, and the blue flame, and so on, but that's the original, the ancient ones, right? The order of Melchizedek. I mean, we just adhere so strictly to the law, and even the positive side of the planet Saturn, right? Because, you know, there's been hijack and all kinds of things happening, those other planets, whether Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and so on. So, guys, you know, those are on that. That's the first ray of creation, the blue ray, actually, the will of God. We're extremely strict. So I used to be lenient. I mean, now it's just you have to be strict, but with loving kindness, with loving heart. And of course, the first ray, right? I mean, it was contaminated with the negative ones, but that's the red wave frequency, right? When I talk about the red wave frequency, the radio frequency with the 5G towers, the MK Ultra, the mind control, the microwave, they're microwaving your aura, your energy field, your mind, your brain, and so on. So that's the total perversion and inversion of that first ray of creation, the blue flame, God's will. And so that's why the negative ones, right, with the negative alien agenda, and of course they're represented by Illuminati cabal, they think they're above the law. Their time is done, right? They're done. That's like, no. So very important for the rest of us, for all of us, to align with God's divine will, to understand universal laws, because it teaches you about the unconditional love that comes from your heart, from our Creator, from Holy Mother, Divine Mother. Yes. So that was the law of transcendence, guys. Let me see. Through transcendence of the earthly personality, we become aware of our consciousness power to understand the operation of general causes and effects, observing the natural laws in action, focus on the consciousness direction of attaining truth, virtues, ethics, morals, character, and communing with the spirits of Christ. That's why Yoga Ayurveda, yamas, niyamas, they talk about the virtues, the ethics, the morals. Because then coming over here to the United States, I'm sorry, but I witnessed the demoralization, the superficiality, the anti-life, anti-Christ way of living. People mind-controlled. All this partying and watching porn and, all about into sports and drinking and the ego and the prestige and how you look and what kind of car you drive. I was shocked because I come from a country, right? I mean, hardly anybody had a car. Well, we had nice public transportation. Maybe that was easier for us to really just be nice to each other, solidarity and so on, people getting together and bartering. The money was not an issue. And I was studying the spiritual occultism, the mystica, right? The esoterica, the Jewish Kabbalah, the original 12 spheres, the 12 base mathematics. And the true, the secret societies where the advanced souls were meeting at, certain places, cafes, talking about Bhagavad Gita, right? Even Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was one of the Starseeds, and he was attending those secret societies back there in Prague. It used to be part of the Austrian-Hungarian monarchy. So, or the Theosophical Society, right? Madame Blavatsky. So that's how I grew up, reading those kind of books. I'm like, oh, you know, the communism and so on. So when I go to the United States, everything is for, you know, about freedom. And I can talk about the spirituality. I can talk about God and source. And here we go. I come here in October 2000, already shocked. Right, looking at the energies, whether it was the Pentagon or you know, the White House and so on. And then what happened, right? 9/11. So time to correct all these things, right? Time to go back to God, to source, to universal laws, and really be responsible. So that's during the law of transcendence, right? We embody the greater truth and realization of our spiritual being, knowing our purpose, experiencing our relationship to the God creator. And in the face of this truth, we give up everything so that we can receive something even of much greater value. The law of transcendence removes the veils of light and time to experience true unity with God. Again, yoga union. To experience the interconnection that exists in all things. The truth of our purpose is revealed to us, right? So things happen on an energy plane, on an energetic levels, guys. And that's, you know, I'm just sharing whatever I feel like sharing, what I'm allowed to share. But we're complex beings, energy beings, spiritual beings, okay? With Atma body, Buddha body, the bliss body. That's Ananda Kosha. That's again has to do with the teachings in yoga philosophy, right? Yoga science. So we see the laws in creation. We are filled with awe at the magnificence and beauty of God's natural creation. The inner work, the ascension, the inner self. Where all is revealed. That's where the kingdom of God is, right? The kingdom of God, the heaven on earth. All has to come from within, having that click, that connection with your heart, with your soul, with your oversoul, with your monad, with your Christ itself. True love, unconditional love, only comes with connection with God, with source. Not with other people, unless those people are on their spiritual journey, right? Healing, transformation. They're doing their own inner work, so you can share beautiful energies with each other. Otherwise, this is all, you know, people have all kinds of shadows and hiding things, and the negativity, the ego, the mind control, all this blindedness, right? The unconscious is there a lot. And then people yell and scream and shout, or they freak out. Because my energies are extremely intense. So that's why I don't even I just have to always protect myself, right? Beloved, I am presence bright. Round me seal your tube of light. From ascended master flame, called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I'm calling forth wildfire to blaze and transmit all desire, keeping on in freedom's name till I'm one with the wild flame. And then of course, see also Merkaba around you, the original Merkaba, the way it should flow. For protection, right? The crystal spiral, with the crystal spiral, with the Christed codes, Kristal, Kristala, Karayasa Ta'ala. It's the original tones of creation. Changing the carbon-based DNA into crystalline DNA. So the law of verification. The law of verification is the link of what has been learned through the lessons of life and the gathering of that knowledge that has been accumulated, and then verifying those experiences by figuring out how to apply that knowledge into your everyday life. We take our spiritual lessons and explore the opportunity to apply them to the material world, paying attention to the results we may get. So when we get to explore ourselves and our perceived limitations by experimenting with the knowledge that has been gained in order to increase our skills, competencies, and talents. Guys, this hard work that we do, the inner work and all this frustration and how we were also abused and violated, dumbed down, we're doing an incredible job. Plus, we're learning so much about ourselves and about the history and about really the true nature of reality, the true fabrics of reality. So, and then we're expanding. That's why we came here. We are incarnated here. Right, to have that experience, to have that knowledge, because then when we go to other planets or star systems and so on, well, I'm sure they'll be asking, hey, how was your Earth experience, right? And you'll be like a book, like an encyclopedia. This is what I learned. This is what I've experienced. So we're gaining all these skills and competencies and talents by changing and experimenting with the way we do things. Through verification of what we are learning, we access our creative potentials in order to find new methods to address all problems, and this pushes us beyond our limits to increase our self-confidence and personal power to know that we have all we need inside of us. That's why the hardship, where we finally let go, let God, and know that everything is within, inside of us. It takes time, right? The ego, the external world, the law of suggestions, right? All these belief system, and how we are all kind of hooked to that external world, external, you know, circumstances and people and the 3D work or 4D job, right? And then let this all, man, go, because it's draining us. Right? It's negatively polarized. Unless from within us, we're starting to polarize it for the positive. We're trying to do the positive polarization. But then, the end result is when we drop everything and we're in our heart, in our core, in our center, divine neutrality, 0 point balance. Right? That's where we observe everything and we're totally non-attached. I am in this world, but not out of it. And then just kind of watch this awe of God's creation. So if we look at the negativity and challenges we face as life lessons designed to expand our consciousness, we may approach problems in life with a completely different attitude. We then realize we will have conditions, events, and people that surface in our world that come to test out what we're learning about ourselves. We are given the opportunity to adjust our thinking, to know this experience as the truth and see it as a blessing, shifting our reactions to many of life's experiences. The law of verification comes into play when building a strong spiritual foundation. When there are things in our life that need to be stabilized and made stronger because something in the core is weakened. We may undergo tests of character to see how strong we are in the commitment to personal values or spiritual growth, and in what areas we may falter. If we base our decisions in life upon falsity or lies, this weakness will be tested and brought to the surface so that we can see it operating and verifying the truth of it through our own experience. This realization supports the ability to perceive where we need to make changes, to modify attitudes and behavior, and to perceive the opposing forces of polarity involved in order to verify if we're acting in alignment to the natural laws, in alignment to our authentic selves. The law of verification teaches us a lesson through inner revelation, the path of moderation in all pursuits in life in order to achieve energetic balance is the key to mastery of this law, which opens the communication with neutral forces, the Trinity waves. So guys, let's end this here because that's how I feel. The moderation, don't push it, right? It's been already a lots of information to digest, to meditate upon, to contemplate. Again, take only what resonates with you and leave the rest. Very important, just loving yourself, take time for yourself, all this rest that we need right now to recalibrate and release all this old programming, all conditioning, all way of living, right? So be compassionate with yourself, be patient with yourself, and know that all is well. Many blessings and namaste. Bye-bye.